In this tutorial, we're going to look at converting dog years into human years. So this is going to be our dog years calculator. So let's start by removing all the existing elements that are on our page. You need to look at your designs and work out what V stacks and H stacks you have, and also Z stacks, and that's in another tutorial. But we're going to be working in a V stack, so everything's vertical and underneath each other. The first thing we're going to start with is a title. And to put a title on there, we need to put a text element. And this text element's going to be the title. It's going to be human years to dog years. Now after this, you need to get input from the user. To get input from the user, we need to use a text field. And we can ask the user to enter in the human years, and then we can perform a calculation with that to convert it to dog years. And what we need to do, if you did press the tab key to get the existing, we're going to change text, and we're going to put a $sign in there for a binding, and we're going to put human years. And then we need to declare human years as a state. So at state, and then we can have human years, and it's going to be a string. So now we can see in our display, we've actually got a title, and we can enter in our human years here. We can put like 10. Okay, so let's move to the next part. We need to create some sort of button to calculate. So underneath here, we would like a button. So I'm going to move underneath the text field here. I might just make this a little wider. There we go. If we do put the keyboard type decimal pad, this will ensure when the program runs and the keyboard is shown, it'll only be numbers rather than entering text. We want to then declare a button, and that button's going to have an action, and then we can open and close a brace. Then what we're going to do is put a let in and declare a new variable which is going to be called human years. Now this human years value is going to be a variable that we're going to reference, and we're going to use as part of the calculation. And we're going to get the information from human years, and we're going to convert that to an integer and then store that in human years value. When we take the information from the text field, it comes in as a string, and we need to typecast it into an integer and then store that in human years value. Then we can perform mathematical calculations on that. To perform mathematical calculation on it, we're going to have a variable called dog years, or we'll call it doggy years. And that's going to be equal to the human years value times 7. Now we're also going to put in here, now you notice there's an error here at the moment, so let's go fix that. To use doggy years, we need to declare it as a state, and as you can tell, you can see it came up as a shadow, and I just press tab and it will type that in for me. So you can see that this doggy years is now up there. Now it's still talking about missing argument, we'll deal with that in a moment, but one thing I want to look at is this human years. At the moment this is asking for a number. If they type in something else like a word or TWO, it will cause an error, so and therefore be a null value. By putting 2 question marks there, we can actually capture any null errors or variables that are wrong input, and then we can actually put 0 in there. So if they do enter in something incorrect here, it will then place 0 in here. So what we've just done there, inside the button is actually done the processing. Now we need to display the button on screen. So let's go do that now. So I'm going to open up a brace and close a brace, and then we're going to put the properties out. So first of all, the button's going to have some text, and the text is going to be calculate. That is fine. And now you can see the button on the screen. And if we type in a number like 10 and go calculate, the button's working, but we have no output yet. So what we want to do after we have created the button, and we'll stylize it a little bit later, is we then want to deal with the output. So this is the output section. So we want to display back to the user. To do that, we're going to use some text. And then we're going to give the user a message, and we're going to use an appropriate message. So it's always good to be positive to make sure the user has a good experience. So we're going to go your age in dog years is, and then we're going to use doggy years. Notice we've got the backslash to reference the integer. So it's typecasting this or breaking and saying put the integer in there. So now we've got a basic program here with the title. We've got an input area, so let's use 10 and go calculate, and it turns to 70. If we put in 5, calculate, we get 35. So we can see our program's working quite well. Now what we need to do is go through and stylize the program. So I hope you found this tutorial useful for getting the structure and the functionality going. Now it's just cosmetic for the UI and improving the user experience. If you like the tutorial, give it a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, even place a comment in there for the algorithm, and have a look around my YouTube channel for other useful tutorials.